Happy Sunday, Sainers. Welcome back to the Saints TV YouTube channel. In this video, it's going to be a little bit of a trade period preview. Tomorrow it kicks off. So I want to give you all of the lowdown on exactly what we can expect from St Kilda in the next 9 to 10 days. The exact dates are Monday, October 6th. The Continental Tires AFL Trade Period will kick off and it will conclude on Wednesday, October 15th. My birthday, actually, so hopefully it's a big day. But 9 days there, a lot of business to get done. What is St Kilda going to do in that period? So at a bare minimum, we know that St Kilda need to land 3 players. Sam Flanders, Lekalia, Liam Ryan. On top of that, we've got players that are looking around in Jack Steele and Rowan Marshall. Outside of that, I think it's very much dependent on what happens with these deals, what we get for certain players if they were to leave, and obviously the picks that might be included in deals where we want to get players, and then it might unlock something down the line. But for now, let's just look at exactly what we need to do. Sam Flanders is the big one. At this moment in time, pick 7 is on the table. There is rumors going around that potentially we will get a probably second or third rounder back from the Gold Coast Suns. Fox Footy had the predicted deal of Gold Coast receives pick 7 and pick 48. St Kilda receives Sam Flanders and pick 34. I think that's probably going to absolutely get that done. Obviously, 7 pushes out to 11, 12. That's probably the value of what Sam Flanders would be on the market right now if he was in the draft. And then obviously we get a pick 34 back that could be used down the line in another deal, or we just keep that and use that in the draft or work our way back up the order somehow with that pick. So Sam Flanders, I don't think will be a complicated one, to be honest. I think they'll then use pick 7 and get Petrarca. They'll give that to Melbourne, and then that'll get that one done as well for the Gold Coast Suns. So it'll be part of sort of a mega trade, if you will. Lekalia, Cal Toomey has already talked about it a little bit. He believes that there's already talks of future second and third pick being involved. I think this is going to be a very easy one to get done as well. I don't think it's going to cost us a lot to get Lekalia over the line, a future second, potentially a future third, or even something this year. But it's going to be a very minimal one, and it wouldn't surprise me if that's one of the earlier ones to get done, as it's probably not the most complicated. Liam Ryan, Cal Toomey also talked about it, pick swaps. So at this moment in time, we've only got pick 7 and pick 43. Maybe we give up 43. I don't imagine it would be a future. I think West Coast probably wants something in this year's draft. And the only other pick I can think of, is 43. So that might be in the works for Liam Ryan. And what we get back from them, I'm not too sure. But again, I don't think Liam Ryan's going to cost more than a third rounder in this draft. Maybe a second rounder if they push, but I don't think they're going to. I think it's going to be another pretty smooth one to get done. The more complicated one is going to be Rowan Marshall if he was to leave. So I'll hold that one for now. We'll go with Steele, and then we'll get to Marshall. Steele is going to be shopped around. Adelaide Crows is one that people are talking about. Essendon as well, if they were to lose a couple of, if they lose Zach Merritt in particular, and any other players that might want out, but Zach Merritt being the big one, maybe they look to some leadership in that capacity with Jack Steele. West Coast 100% would be looking at Jack Steele, but would Jack Steele be more inclined to stay in Melbourne or to go out west? I think he'd want to stay locally. And obviously there is the option, and I personally still think this is the strongest option, that he stays. I think it's going to be very much a wait and see, and if there's no bites from any other club, I think St Kilda will then happily keep him. So that's Jack Steele. The big one though, Rowan Marshall requested a trade to Geelong. What can possibly get this done if it was to even get done? Now, at this moment in time, we know it's only Geelong that potentially he would want to go to. We've heavily paid up on his salary, so we've front-ended his deal heavily in the last couple of years, which means that he's on very, very small coin as opposed to what he was in the previous 2 years. So on one, that means that we probably are going to play very hard ball. And on the flip side, it also means we've got a lot of salary cap space, more so than what people think for this year and for next year, because players like Max King and Rowan Marshall have been on minimal money on their deals at the front end, which means as much as people think we might be overspending and the war chest might be shrinking, trust me, there's still a little bit of room to move there because of what we've done with some of these senior players. But I don't think St Kilda is going to be very kind to Geelong. Like, for example, Fox Footy's hypothetical trade to get it done is St Kilda receives pick 18 and pick 58. Geelong receives Rowan Marshall and pick 63. I don't see that happening at all. I don't see St Kilda agreeing to anything unless there is a Geelong player or something like that coming back the other way. So I think it was Zero Hanger. They did a couple of hypotheticals as well that I'll share with you. This was picks only. Pick 18, future first round selection. So, that might be pick 18 again next season. Rowan Marshall, and we give back a future second round selection. This one is with a player involved, so picks and players package, pick 18 and George Stevens for Rowan Marshall. That's it. We don't give up anything else. The next option is players only, which is George Stevens and Jai Clark for Rowan Marshall. That's two youngsters there. Could be interesting. Maybe that could get it done, but I'm still not sure. It depends on what players. If St Kilda have a list of 5 or 6 players that they would happily take from Geelong for Rowan Marshall, and they were included, maybe with pick 18, maybe if it's the one we want, and then an extra player on top, who knows? It really depends on what St Kilda's strategy is here. But I just don't see it being a pick. I do not see them spending pick 18 and that's it. I think St Kilda is going to be very stern on this. And if it comes down to it and we keep him, then we keep him because he's on minimal coin. It's not going to hurt the salary cap. And we get our ruck combination that we want to see in action. And he can play forward, take the pressure off King. We've heard this story all before. We know exactly why we want to see them both play together. I don't need to convince St Kilda supporters of why it could be really exciting. We all know why. So that's that situation. And outside of that, there's Cam McKenzie's situation, whether he could be on the out depending on if they get Zach Merritt. There are rumors going around that Zach Butters could be in the works for a lot of clubs in this period. A lot of people thought maybe it'd be put off until 2026, but there are talks that 4 weeks before the end of the season, he was already looking around and wanting to be moved back to Victoria. So it just depends on, I guess, which Victorian clubs really believe they can get him this year, or do they hold fire and get him maybe a little bit cheaper next year. So that's that situation. And then outside of that, Dan Butler's one that's been talked about that could be on the move. I don't think really many others outside of it. Lance Collard's not going to go anywhere. I know some people mentioned that to West Coast, but that's absolutely not going to happen. He's contracted and he's exciting and we want to give him time. And we're not going to be losing anyone in that group. None of those youngsters in that group that are signed are going anywhere. So it's really a matter of getting the deals that we need to get done in terms of the players that have nominated us. We've already got 2 over the line in the free agency. And then outside of that, whether Jack Steele or Rowan Marshall leave will dictate very much on what we think we can do maybe with another deal. Maybe if there's another player that pops up that might be disillusioned at a club, we might be looking at them. But obviously it would have to link to, what pick we can get for Marshall if it was the case. And obviously Steele, if he was to go somewhere, what can we get for Jack Steele? What is maximum value for our midfield captain, or at least, used to be captain. So that is the trade period preview. It's very, very exciting news. Obviously, it's going to keep me busy in the next 9 days. So anything that pops up, I will be sure to put it in a video, put it on Saints TV on all socials, and keep you up to date. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you stay tuned on all the content. I did 4 videos on Friday. If you haven't checked those out, please do. We talked about Marshall. We talked about Steele. We talked about Tom De Koning and Jack Silvani. And obviously Sam Flanders' video came out yesterday as he nominated us as well. So big 9 days coming up, Sainers. Very exciting news. Hopefully you appreciate this. Just to reiterate, tomorrow, Monday, October 6th to Wednesday, October 15th is the AFL Trade Period. And that is when we're going to get to work. So very exciting news there. I can picture that Rowan Marshall, out of all of them, would be the most difficult and the one that would, if it ever even happened, would be on the 15th, on the deadline day. I just think that's the case. So if we can wrap all these up, at least the ones that are the incoming in the first week, because I just think they're going to be pretty straightforward by the looks. Get those done and then just see what happens. Because once you get those done early, you can then look around at any other options and assess the situation. If you've got those dragging out until deadline day, then you don't know what picks you're getting. You don't know what you've got left to use. And then you can't really go for a bonus one or whoever might pop up given the opportunity. So that's a wrap, Sainers, on that. Thank you very much for tuning in. Any questions on this or any comments, please put it in the comments. I love all the conversations about this and the hypotheticals, and I'll keep you posted during those 9 days of the trade period starting tomorrow. So thanks again, Sainers. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Take care, and as always, go you mighty Sainers. See you guys.